All right, let's get started. The Finance Committee meeting for Glynn County. It is 2 o'clock, Tuesday, March the 24th, 2020. Item 1, consider any adjustments to the changes to the agenda. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept it as is.
Chairman, I'd like to point your attention to the back page of your schedule package. We'd like to substitute the wording on that for number 23. Mr. Catron will call it on that item, but we need to revise the wording after we post it on the agenda.
Okay, how? What are the changes?
Will, you want to speak to that, change the wording on that?
Yes, Commissioners. So really, I think it's just the recommended motion that's changed. On 23, the board approved a contract with this company on March 5th. I'm sorry. They've changed the pricing, and they submitted just an entirely new contract with the new pricing. So what y'all need to, what we're recommending that you do is that your motion rescind that previous contract that you've already approved, and then approve this new contract.
The whole board of commissioners approved it.
Correct.
I didn't understand when I was reading it why the pricing changed. I mean, why all of a sudden when we're given a quote and it changes? I mean, we can discuss it when we get there, but I mean.
Well, I think Mr. Catron can address that at the time.
Because I think we had some questions about it when it came last time.
That's correct.
Yeah, we did, right. I mean, why are we accepting American Express at 2.15%?
Yeah.
But at this point, we're just notifying y'all that part of y'all's motion, if you choose to move forward with this, is to rescind that earlier contract as well as approve this one.
Well, we may need some explanation on what we've already approved, because I'm a little bit confused about that, so.
But as far as the agenda, it's still on the agenda.
Right, it's still on the agenda. I just think if and when y'all are ready to make the motion, it may be different than the one that's suggested in here.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda with the exception of whatever needs to be done to item 23.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, item 2, consider approving February 25th, 2020 Finance Committee minutes. Any corrections or adjustments to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes for the February 25th, 2020 Finance Committee meeting.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposes, the same opportunity. Item 3, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve or deny request from Mr. Warren Mackey that interest accrued on the county-held tax deed for 2010 through 2014 taxes on parcel number 03-14143 in the amount of $1,730.77 be waived and or allow Mr. Mackey to make monthly payments. Mr. Mackey, are you here? Come forward.
Is it right here?
Yes. Yes, sir.
I just came before the board today to ask for a reduction in penalties or a payment plan so that I can take care of this debt I owe Glynn County. And that's all I'm here for.
Okay. Any reason why you hadn't been able to?
Well, I've had some health problems through the years, and I've been on disability for about 3 years now. I just haven't had enough money to pay together to pay this in one lump sum, so I'm asking for a payment plan so I can take care of the debt.
Somebody in the tax office here.
Yes. Arlene?
When it becomes a county tax deed, it's out of our hands.
So should be Will then, I guess.
Big party.
I guess then Will needs to advise us on this.
So Commissioners, as y'all probably know, the tax commissioner holds a tax sale for delinquent taxes every so often. If no one bids on those properties at the tax sale, they're knocked off to the county so that a tax deed is issued in the name of the county. Under state law, once a person or the county in this case holds a tax deed, then there is what's called a redemption premium. And for the first year, it's 20%, and then it's 10% for every year after that. So if the amount of taxes is $1,000 and that gets knocked off to the county, then for the first year, the redemption premium is $200. Then the next year, it's another $100, and so on and so forth for every year since that tax sale. So what I believe Mr. Is it McKee?
McKee, yes.
McKee is asking for is that redemption premium be waived. That 20% for the first year and then 10% for every year after that be waived. And then I think also he's asking that a payment plan for the face amount of the deed be approved by the board as well.
You say it's state law?
Yes, sir.
Who administers the payment plan? I mean, how is that set up?
I don't know that we've ever done one, Commissioner, so
Oh,
it'd
okay.
be uncharted territory for us, really.
Is this for his residence?
Yes.
It's for your residence.
You know, I certainly don't mind figuring out how to do a payment plan. I don't know how we defy state law.
You know, we've looked into this question before in different contexts, waiving that premium, that redemption premium. And our best, advice at the time is we're not sure that y'all are empowered to waive that. That is an amount that is due by law to waive that. We just don't see any authority for the board to do that under state law. Payment plan though is entirely up to y'all. If y'all want to have the staff work out some sort of payment plan and allow Mr. McKee to do that, I don't see any restrictions under state law doing something like that.
Could the tax commissioner's office work out the payment plan? I mean, y'all gonna be getting the proceeds. I don't know how the county.
So that money would all come to the county.
Oh, okay.
Any payment plan,
So finance will have to do that.
correct.
Do we see any issues with doing that payment plan? I mean, do we have a lot of other folk in this situation that we may have to deal with this?
Commissioner, I think the county probably holds hundreds, if not thousands, of tax deeds that are sitting out there. So, I mean, not to say that one person sets a precedent by any means, but if it's an option we're going to offer going forward, then we probably at some point we need to come up with some sort of policy or procedure for dealing with that.
Is there time to think through that and come back to us with a policy or procedure? And when we talk about a payment plan, we talk about 4-year, 5-year, 20-year, 30-year. I mean, is it something we'd think we'd see the money back in a certain period of time? I mean, and are you also telling me because of the number of tax deeds we have, we've got a backlog of maybe possible folks that might want to do the same thing? Is that what I'm also hearing?
Yes, sir. I mean, it is not at all unusual for tax deeds to be knocked off to the county when no one bids on them. Judging by the number of overage claims that we get, so if someone bids more than what's due on the taxes, there's an overage and then people can claim that. Judging just by the number of those claims we get for overage, and my experience here for 15 years, and in practice, these things have been being knocked off to the county for decades. So I don't think we have any idea how many of them are out there, but I don't think saying it's estimated in the thousands would be any kind of exaggeration.
Sounds like we need the staff to think through this and bring us a recommendation.
Well, what is it? What is the definition of knocked off to the county?
It means the tax commissioner issues us a tax deed, I honestly have not talked to Mr. Chapman about how his practice is. My understanding when Florence was here, no money actually changes hands. So she would, like in Mr. McKee's case, she would issue a tax deed to the county in the amount of the taxes that were owed. The county doesn't pay that money to the tax commissioner at the time. If and when that tax deed gets paid off in the future, that money would be transferred to the tax commissioner. But at the time of that transaction, so to speak, no money actually changes hands. So the term knocked off just means the tax commissioner issues that tax deed to the county in the name of the county, rather than just have it sit and not have anything happen.
And these are properties that theoretically, eventually would go to the land bank. Is that a vehicle to clear them out?
That is an option that y'all could look at, is transferring these to the land bank. That's one of the things the land bank is set up to do.
Is that
So
property,
yeah, that's a possibility.
does that property represent an asset on the county's books?
Byron?
I'd have to check on that, but I'm not aware of the number that you're talking
I
about.
mean, we're talking in the thousands.
We're currently reviewing that now, what we fix that.
Well, it sounds like we need to maybe defer this if we're not gonna make a decision today. And look at some other options.
I'd like to have some more information. I think he's asking for something that we haven't normally done. I'm agreeable to look at seeing what can be done at this point. Appreciate him being willing to try to get it called up, but it's, to me, that's too open-ended of a kind of we're too early into the stage to make a decision, in my opinion, one way or the other. And I think the staff needs to give us some direction on, I'd like to know how many properties we do have out there in this situation. I'd like to know what our options are in regards to collecting those taxes or giving them to the land bank or whatever to that effect. And then, also to think through what does a payment plan look like and who actually administers it, who's watching it, because we've had a history in the county. Sometimes we'll expect to receive payments and we don't get them, and of course that's why we brought them in auditor. But I think all those questions have to be answered in my mind before we make a decision on this particular case.
Right, we need more information. So,
Mr. Chairman, move we defer this till a later date.
Second.
do we have to have a certain date? Will? Okay. All in favor of deferring item 3, raise your right hand. Okay.
Mr. McKee, I don't think anybody's gonna be out foreclosing on your property anytime next week, so don't worry about that.
I'm sorry.
I said, I don't think anybody's gonna be out foreclosing on your property
Okay,
anytime
I
next
appreciate
week,
it.
so it's, we just need to make sure we're not fixing to open up a can of worms we can't
Right,
close.
Right,
And
I
so,
understand.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you,
We'll be in
gentlemen,
touch.
for your time today.
Okay. Item 4, public safety items. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract for July 4th fireworks show to Starfire Corporation in the amount of $35,000 with funding to be provided by the FY20 Recreation Operating Budget.
Mr. Chairman, this wouldn't be on there if the county manager hadn't figured out we got the money to do this, and it's probably an important function in our county, and particularly after what we've been through, 4th of July would be a sad day if we didn't have the fireworks, and so I'm on move to recommend we go ahead with this contract for $35,000 and come up with the money.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, item 5. Consider recommending the Commissioners accept the 2020 Georgia County Internship Grant and to amend the FY20 Police Fund budget revenues and expenditures in the amount of $2,607.60. Commissioners,
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we go ahead and move to accept the grant award that will authorize the county to execute the contract for the grant with required signatures.
Second.
all in favor, raise your right hand. Item 6, Tax Commissioner item. Ms. Sapp, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve or deny a request from Gigi Capes on behalf of property owner Peggy Capes to refund penalties and interest in the amount of $2,044.54 paid for 2018 taxes on parcel number 04-06279.
Yes, sir. The tax commissioner stated that we did not do due diligence to make sure that she received her tax bill. In researching our records, we see that the first address change originated from the PT 61 form. We used that address. Then back in 2016, they gave us another address. We keyed that in and we used that to bail out the 18 and 19 tax bill. And then in 2019, they gave us another address. So we, every address that they've given us, we've pursued it. But they're stating that they did not get their tax bill. They paid their 19 bill late also. We sent them a 19 bill. For some reason, they called our office. I guess they thought, oh, we're not paying our taxes. And they called our office. We sent them a 19 bill, and we sent them the 18 bill also that was outstanding. And they paid the 19 late also.
Commissioners.
So we got it to them.
They're not here. I guess everybody's here representing. Hold on just a minute.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we deny a request from G.G. Capes on behalf of property owner Peggy Capes for refund penalties and interest in the amount of $2,044.54 paid for 2018 taxes on parcel 04-06279.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Property appraisal item number 7. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the real and personal property corrections and exemptions as recommended by the Board of Assessors and the Chief Appraiser at their Thursday, February 13, 2020 meeting, with clarification that this does not approve a tax refund.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Booker. These are corrections from February 13th, 2020 from the Board of Assessors, and I'll try to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions, I move to recommend that we approve the real and personal property corrections.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
All right, thank y'all.
All right. Budget and grant items number 8. Consider recommending Board of Commissioners approve the use of $60,000 in general fund undesignated fund balance to cover the incurred and expected legal fees related to the Coleman lawsuit. Mr. Hours or Finance? Judy?
Judy's not here. I'm just speaking on behalf of that. Those are the current expenses we've incurred. We're asking for authority to go ahead and rectify that. There's a potential of 20,000 more, I think, that may come in regards to that also.
Gee, I thought they were doing that program. I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve the $60,000 undesignated fund balance to cover the legal fees.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 9, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners revise the January 16, 2020 Board of Commissioners budget adjustment to the Demery Road East Beach Causeway roundabout project to reflect the use of $66,155 to be provided by the Splosh 2016 North Harrington Drainage Outfall Project and $37,245 to be provided by Splosh 2016 St. Simon's Village Drainage Project.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. This is a splost housekeeping issue as far as funds. From what I've been told, there was an error in how much fund or the balance in each account between the GIMS system and the Munis system. And so when we awarded the contract, we were using numbers from GIMS, and then when they transferred the numbers from GIMS to Munis, it needed to be changed, hence this. And if you need any more explanation of that, that's the depth of my knowledge.
Yeah, this is the transparency item, just put it like that to you, going from an old system to a new. I've been here a little amount of time, but we've asked our staff to bring forward any items that may need additional cleanup, present that to you. So this isn't any additional money, this is just between projects that Mr. Austin and my staff's been working on to bring to you, just acknowledge.
No change in the current contract, no change in the contract amount, it's just moving some account money around in SPLOST.
Commissioners?
I recommend the board, I recommend to revise the January 16th, 2020 Board of Commissioners budget adjustment to the Demery Road East Beach Causeway Roundabout project to reflect use of $66,155 be provided by SPLOST 2016 North Harrington Drainage Outfall Project and $37,245 be provided by SPLOST 2016 St. Simons Village Drainage Project.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 10.
Thank you.
Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the grant application for the FY21 Promoting Safe and Stable Families and associated documents and the submittal of such application to the Georgia Department of Human Services. Commissioners,
And this is I'll speak to that again, this is a juvenile court recurring grant. It's got a small amount of local match. It's already budgeted into what occurs every year, so this is pretty much a formality for the grant retention.
There's a 25% match, is that? I thought I saw something there.
It's a small line.
Yeah, it's 25%.
yeah.
Chairman, I'm going to recommend the board approve the grant application promoting safe and stable families and associated documents.
Second.
Georgia Department of Human Services.
I'm sorry, second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, contracts and procurement. Item 11, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve and execute the addendum with Coastal Regional Commission for FY21 appropriation in the amount of $36,000 and dues in the amount of $83,516. What do we get
I
for
don't think
this?
we have a choice on this, do we?
This is state mandated.
I move to recommend we approve and execute the addendum for the CRC FY21 for the appropriation amount of $36,000 in dues in the amount of $83,516.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 12, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the concession license agreement for Neptune Park for summer 2020 with T&R Investments LLC, doing business at Sunset Slush, St. Simons Island, Georgia, in the amount of $7,706. Ms. Gorganis.
Okay, good afternoon.
Hi.
In mid-January, or excuse me, end of January, we issued RFQs for concession operations for beach parks, and so we're bringing both of these to you today. We went through the process, received 2 bids in late February, and the high bid for this project, which is what we look for, was Sunset Slush T&R Investments, who have done business with us before, for $7,706. And we would like to recommend moving forward with an agreement with them for concession operations, and of course going on to the assumption that we are all hopefully back to normal in operations by that time.
Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve concession license agreement for Neptune Park for summer 2020 with T&R Investments LLC, doing business as Sunset Slush, St. Simons Island, Georgia, in the amount of $7,706.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 13, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the concession license agreement for Massengale Park for summer 2020 with Snowbid Shade Ice, Adele, Georgia, in the amount of $6,550.
So the same concept, we went out to bid in mid-January. We received the bids back in mid-February. Because the high bidder was a new vendor, we conducted reference checks and the references came back very well. So we are recommending moving forward with this vendor for this. At this time, the vendor is only approved for operations within Massengale Park through a single mobile concession unit. The vendor did not demonstrate the proper equipment to be able to vend on the beach sales. And so at this time, while the contract would allow for that in the future, if the vendor would provide the photos of the actual equipment and receive their letter of authorization from the DNR, but right now they're aware that they are only permitted to vend within the park. This contract would start around Memorial Day and go through Labor Day. And they did get good references, so we are recommending moving forward. Again, assuming that we're back to normal operations by that time.
Commissioners,
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the board approve the concession license agreement for Massengale Park for the summer of 2020 with Snow Biz Shaved Ice from the great southwest Georgia town of Adel, Georgia, in the amount of $6,550.
all in favor? Sorry, Commissioner. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Item 14, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners enter into instructor agreements with Gian Dismer and Alex Dinkney, Romina Lopez Ortez to instruct swim lessons at Neptune Park Pool, and with Blue Water Diving, Inc. to instruct snorkeling and scuba lessons at Howard Coffin Park and Neptune Park Pools, with funds from the FY20 and FY21 Recreation and Parks budgets.
About this time every year, we come to y'all wanting to bring forward instructor agreements for our summer programs. And so these are the folks, the ladies that are teaching swim lessons are folks that have taught with us before and have done a really good job. We've also tried to develop a relationship with Blue Water Diving to introduce some new classes to our curriculum. All four of the agreements are the same instructor agreement template that you, as a body, have previously approved and that has been reviewed by the county attorney, where there's a 70-30 split. We did go ahead and make these agreements good through June 30th of 2021, which carries us through the next fiscal year. This comes at the recommendation of our finance department, which has asked us to try to get our instructor contracts on the same calendar as the fiscal year instead of a calendar year. We have checked references for Blue Water Diving, again, a new organization, and for us, not a new organization, but new to us, and they came out with really good references. And we'd like to move forward with entering into these agreements with them and hope that we can continue our normal class schedule as we move into the summer.
Did y'all used to have, will there be classes in June this year, or is it going to have to wait till July 1st?
They could start now, but the contract would carry them all the way through June of next year. So next summer, assuming if we were to re-up these contracts, we'd come to you with new agreements that would carry us through fiscal year 2022.
How much are they charging, for the snorkeling and scuba stuff?
The snorkeling, it depends on the kind of the class. Some of the classes are $25, some are a little bit more than that, so it depends on the group
That's a great
classes.
idea.
So we're going to try it, and this is a woman who's from Brunswick and has previously owned, or maybe still owns, Island Dive Center. So.
That's right. Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners enter into instructor agreements with Janine Dismer, Alex Binkley, and Romina Lopez Ortez to instruct swim lessons at Neptune Park Pool, and with Blue Water Diving, Inc. to instruct snorkeling and scuba lessons at Howard Coffin Park and Neptune Pool Pools, with funds from the FY20 and FY21 Recreation and Parks budget.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 15, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the Blythe Island Regional Park Campground host agreements with Stacy Beasley and Donna Breeley.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of the Board of Commissioners approve the Blythe Island Regional Park Campground host agreements with Ms. Beasley and Ms. Riley.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, item 16. Ms. Mr. Austin is back up. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the issuance of a request for proposal for logging contractor to remove all harvestable trees from the new animal control facility at the safety complex on Carl Alexander Way, and approve the clearing and grubbing operation by Public Works staff. Mr. Austin.
Good afternoon again. So we have some pictures for you here, I think. Just give you an idea of what's going on. If you direct your attention over here to the right screen. So this is the current situation up there on Carl Alexander Way. This one doesn't work on this screen. So the road coming down the middle, and then of course the public safety there. And so the actual
We got it.
you got it. All right, so here's what we want to do: clear, thin, and thin. Give you an idea. Yeah, give you an idea of what the layout of the area is going to look like. So you can see where we want to clear. This is where the structure is going to be, and then you'll see the shaded area to the bottom and the shaded area running up the side. Those are 30-foot buffers. That's required, 30-foot buffer on either side. There's the requirement, and that's what we want to do. We'd like to get started with that. And so this is an agreement with the logging company. They take the wood, they pulp it. It's gone. That's their profit. And what it does to us is it clears all the trees off of there. These trees are about 3 inches in diameter. There are some occasional large one out there because it was clear cut, I guess, a while back, and then seeded.
I was counting on this to make up a shortfall. Animal control facility, that's going to happen. Mr. Chairman, we do whatever we need to do here.
Chairman, I recommend to move the Board of Commissioners approve the issuance of a request for proposal for a logging contract to remove all harvestable trees from the animal control facility at the safety complex in Carl Alexander Way, and approve the clearing and grubbing operations by the Public Works staff.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, item 17, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the LMIG 2020 project to East Coast Asphalt, Douglas, Georgia, in the amount of $1,582,011 and $90,000 of contingency for a total of $1,672,011, with funding to be provided by the Georgia Department of Transportation LMIG 2020 in the amount of $722,876.88, with the remaining amount of $949,134.12 to be provided by Splash 2016. Reject the bid alternative for Demery Road turn lane construction in the amount of $402,520 and rebid that project separately. Mr. Osborne.
So when we put the LMIG together, we put the LMIG together in 3 parts this year. One was roads. One was doing the roundabout there at Demery and Frederica, resurfacing that. And the other piece was to catch the Demery right-hand turn lane that's been kind of hanging out there for a bunch of years. You might have remembered the county has a certain amount of money from the developer for the turn lane. That certain amount of money is $90,000. Okay, and so what we did is we bid that as an alternative, so we could be able to see how much exactly that was, because that shouldn't be funded by SPLOST. And so that bid for that piece of work came in at 402, and we have 90. The other bid that came in was higher overall, but their little section was lower. They were like 290 for that section work. Why is that so much money? I do know when we tried to tackle it last time, there's a lot of fiber optics there. It's on Demery Road. There's some trees that have to be cut down to make it happen. What we'd like to do is reject that offer, come back to the board and do a separate bid for that. And if we don't get a good price at that point in time, then we may recommend that maybe that's something we don't do. I don't know.
We have to give that money back to the developer?
Correct. We'd have to give that money back to the developer. So,
Is the SPOS 2020, the Demery widening project, it doesn't go all the way to where that turn lane is?
we had it in the SPOS 2020 widening project last year. We had the same problem last year. Price was a little cheaper, but we had the same problem. And there was just, basically, when they started doing the locates, there are just all kinds of nice things in the right-of-way so I really need to probably give you a better idea of what the scope of that project is, the amount of trees that need to come down in front of St. Simon's by the Sea in order to make that turn lane happen, and then maybe some traffic counts or a traffic study at that intersection to really determine if that's something that, from a traffic point of view, is something we actually need.
David, all that fiber optics, is that related to the thing by the sea?
No, they went in a few years ago. They just started running fiber down the right-of-way.
So how do we only have 90,000 from the development?
That's well, I mean, this is probably a 5 or 6 year old story, and so at the time there was money put away for that intersection, and I guess that's what that developer and the community development director at the time determined what the cost of putting that in was. Then they got into all kinds of concerns about what they wanted at that intersection. You might remember that there was there was a water line that somebody wanted moved, and it got very confusing, or complicated. I should say confusing, complicated.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the LMIG 2020 project to East Coast Asphalt of Douglas, Georgia, in the amount of $1,582,011 and $90,000 of contingency for a total of $1,672,011 for funding provided by the Georgia Department of Transportation LMIG 2020 in the amount of $722,876.88, with the remaining $949,134.12 to be provided by the SPOS 2016 reject the bid alternative for the Demery Road turn lane construction in the amount of $402,520 and rebid the project separately.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 18, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners exercise the first-year option with Thompson Consulting Services to provide debris monitoring services in the event of a man-made or natural disaster.
So I can't tell you that they've worked for us. We like their what they do for us because they haven't worked for us. They have called us. They called us last year. This is a new contractor. We used to have Witt O'Brien. We put it out for bid last year. These folks came in as, with a higher technical score. The board awarded it to them. And of course, you know that this is a contract that we don't pay any money on unless they get activated, and hopefully, if that ever happens, that gets paid for by FEMA.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the board exercise the first-year option with Thompson Consulting Services to provide debris monitoring services in the event of a man-made or natural disaster, God forbid.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 19, consider recommending Board of Commissioners contract for tree removal and maintenance services with the Jones Maintenance Company of St. Simon's Island, with funding to be provided by the FY21 Public Works Department operating budget, effective July 1, 2020.
So this is Andy Jones. He has had our contract on the island, I think, for the last 10 years. He's a certified arborist. We all know Andy. He does a good job for us. He is mobilized during hurricanes, and we recommend that you award this to him.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend the Board of Commissioners contract for tree removal and maintenance services with Jones Maintenance Company of St. Simon's Island with funding provided by the FY21 Public Works Department operating budget effective July 1st, 2020.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Item 20, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the FY '21 contract with Georgia Department of Transportation for the mowing of rights-of-way and litter pickup on 22.23 miles of state routes in Glynn County at a reimbursement rate of $2,625 per mile for a total annual reimbursement of $58,353.75.
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the board approve the FY '21 contract with the GDOT for mowing the right-of-way and pick up the litter from 22.23 miles of state route in Glynn County at a reimbursement rate of $2,625 a mile for a total reimbursement of $58,353.75.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 21, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve the demolition of the Glynn County gun range structures by Public Works Department.
So this is a current picture of what our beautiful gun range looks like right now. This has been looked at by both, discussed with both the police department and the sheriff's office, and it's also used by the city police department. What we've done recently is that blue arrow there. We've moved the sheds. The sheds were kind of in the low ground. The sheds are in the low ground. The firing part that we want to tear down is kind of in a low swampy area. So we want to demolish that structure, and we've already moved the sheds up at the top there. You can see, and this gives you an idea. You know, we're at the point where they either need to put money into it or just get rid of it. Because it's low and it's not utilized, we asked them what they wanted. Basically, they want something a little bit higher, and they would just rather go with some carports out there that would shed the rain. And so we would have carports, we would have electrical and hand washing, and it would be very simple. So that's what we're trying to do for our law enforcement folks out behind the Public Works complex. Oops.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve demolition of the Glynn County gun range structure by Public Works Department.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, item 22. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award the first-year option for commercial solid waste services through Republic Services effective January 1, 2020, at a projected cost of $151,057.28, with funding to be provided by the various FY20 and FY21 operating budgets, subject to the county attorney's approval.
So this is what we pay in our buildings, on our buildings and our properties for commercial solid waste collection. The dumpsters that are on county property that get filled and emptied weekly, the recycle bins. This is what it gets charged to us and what we pay Republic Services.
Pretty good increase. Well, I guess it is what it is. I move to recommend the board award the first-year option for commercial solid waste services to Republic effective January 1st, 2020, at a projected cost of $151,057.28, with funding to be provided by FY20 and FY21 operating budgets, subject to the county attorney's approval.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
Thank you.
How much, Mr. Howard, you know how much that contract escalates every year?
3%.
It's 3%?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Item 23, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve Elavon Merchant Processing Service new fees for online payment processing utilizing the information technology purchasing exemption, with funding provided by the Community Development Operating Budget.
Hi, Commissioners. Deborah Bragdon from IT. Last Finance and Commission meeting, the Elavon Merchant Processing was approved, and since then, some of the fees changed, and we're asking you to approve a new contract with revised fees for the merchant processing for community development.
I'm not sure what I understand about all this. We've got a proposed monthly budget here of $300,000 a month that we're running through this credit card machine?
No, sir.
What is this?
Last finance meeting, we asked for approval for the online payment merchant for, it's called Rhythm, but it's for permitting for people to pay online for permits through credit card.
Right.
And it's 15 cents per transaction.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's some other fees, like there was a $100 application fee that was waived and a $100 training fee that was waived. And then there was a $7 per month PCI, which is your payment card industry. It changed to 15.
Right.
And then there was, I believe there was like
2.15.
American Express.
2.15%.
Yes, sir, that changed on it.
But I guess my question is, the volume of business that we're projecting to do through this credit card operation here, it says on this piece of paper right here, or whatever this thing is I'm looking at, is $300,000 a month. Is that a good number? That's $3.6 million a year.
I think that's what finance put on, that was the volume that maybe we collect, but they based it on a percentage, which would not be that amount of money. I think finance had to add how much money we collect in permits and planning applications.
I understand all that. I'm wondering, I mean, a lot of places don't take American Express, and I don't know, it may be totally insignificant, it may not matter a hill of beans, but if we're looking at these kind of numbers, I mean, you're looking at $77,000 a year in fees to American Express, if all of them went to American Express. And my question is, why wouldn't you use your American Express when you can go fly around the world and you can't fly anymore? I'm kidding, but really, a lot of places don't take American Express, and I would assume that you're going to have some pretty, I mean, if these are for permits, whatever, pretty large purchases. American Express will wear you out if you're a merchant, and I guess that's what we are. And we're going to pay them over 2% in order to process their credit card.
It's not unusual, though, is it, for county government just to accept Visa and MasterCard, is it?
I don't think it is, no.
I mean, this is not in your wheelhouse, I know.
Yeah, that's more finance, I would think.
As far as our environment here, I'm not sure in other places, that I've done research, yes, sometimes they're excluded because they are typically in a different fee structure. So there are sometimes they exclude Discover or American Express and go to just Visa and MasterCard.
I mean, it's a big number when you,
Yeah,
you get to the people that are, everybody's paying with credit cards these days.
Well, it would be 15 cents per transaction and then an interchange plus fee of 2.50%. And I was under the impression that that is like a foreign exchange or.
That's just a fee that American Express charges to, so they can go give their customers some airline miles.
Wow.
so do we have to do this?
I could go back to the vendor if you like and tell them that that the Board of Commissioners do not want to do American Express.
I don't understand. The other thing is, we had a proposal, we voted on it, it's approved by the BOC, now it comes back different. Why was there a change, and did not this vendor lock this in, give us a price that was locked in while it's being approved?
I asked that. I asked the vendor why what we approved wasn't the, why did he change it? And he said that was more of a standard. And I said, well, you knew it was being approved. And he said, well, some of the fees had changed.
Well, what they realized was American Express was in the game.
Well, that was not on the previous agreement, the American Express fees
Right.
there.
I think they realized they were fixing to take a haircut.
Yeah. Commissioners, what do y'all want to do? I'm not feeling comfortable with this.
Mr. Howard, what you think?
Right now, the online payment is not a part of the permit application. They are able to put in permit applications, but they actually have to come in and pay. It will just delay the payment part of the citizens being able to apply for permits, like sign permits, building permits, commercial permits. And this is online that it would, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is this Elevon, if I remember correctly, they were the only one that would, their
That would-
software would jive with our software? Is that right?
Yes, sir. They were the only
Ameris
ones.
Bank too, or something with Ameris, and this is Wells Fargo.
This is Elevon, and they were the only company that was approved to work out of the box with Infor, which is our vendor that we use for our community development package. We tried to work with First Data, the Ameris Bank, and that interface just did not work.
So are we, you saying we
can we
stuck
approve-
with this?
There's always options. This would be the best option because the vendor has a partnership where this software, this payment merchant actually works. So anytime we upgraded Infor, they have to make sure that this interface works. Where if you did go with another company, you're trying to make it talk to the software package. And if we upgraded to a new version, it might break it.
I understand that, and I understand the problem needs to be business with this company. I'm just wondering if we really want to do business with American Express. And but I don't know what kind of volume we're talking about.
Let me interject something. If there's this much, and I may be out of my range, if there's this much concern, why don't we just go with this, get some more information, bring it back to you. Maybe
Well-
Mr. Catron could be here, he was gonna call in.
Yes.
This was brought to me last week, and so we need to get more information.
This is not an IT issue. I mean, it is an IT issue, it's a big-time IT issue, and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheels. But if we can just, it's a finance issue, if we can eliminate X number of dollars in charges that American Express
Okay.
charges us, and I can tell you, most of these folks have got a card besides American Express because they don't take American Express everywhere. And they can put it on a MasterCard or a Visa card or a Discover card. Or
I think there's been some conversation of trying to be proactive for the taxpayers and whoever.
Sure.
To be able to pay, so it's a
Absolutely.
good concept that we want to push forward, but if there's some comfort, let's pull it, let's bring you back some either to the commissioner's meeting, to the next finance if we can. Well, I don't know if we can wait till the next month or not, you'll have to tell me that.
Like I said, it'll just delay us doing online payments, but it can wait, yes,
We
sir.
need to get the answer for that.
Yes, sir.
Is there in some places, they add a credit card fee, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
You process by credit card? Was this considered at all when we put this together?
We talked
Here's
about
John
it.
coming.
Again, I don't have an IT
We
issue.
talked about the fees, about passing it on to the consumer, the credit card fees. And since this is all part of the building permits, at this time, we wasn't going to pass it on to the consumer. Where they actually paid the convenience fee for using a credit card online.
We're not talking about changing changing your plan, changing your stuff. We're just talking about the fee that American Express charges us to run a credit card. And do we have to take American Express? And that's a finance issue. It's probably not an IT issue.
It's really his decision as to whether he wants to take or not. My experience as a merchant, having a store for several years,
Me too.
is American Express is a difficult company to deal with from a merchant standpoint.
You ain't kidding.
Because they take the cardholders
Yeah,
side on almost every occasion.
absolutely.
And the volume also probably isn't that great. Just again, from my merchant experience, because we had mostly MasterCard and Visa, very little American Express. We did get
But you've got a consumer out there that wants to use American Express because they're going to get airline points that they may be able
Well,
to
and
use one day.
if you're a corporate and you have American Express, you have no limit. So if you're doing a
Yeah,
shopping center and have to pay $300,000 in fees, you put your card out there.
buy a car on American Express. I get it.
I think think that pull it and come back with some more information. I'd like to know, can we pass any of these fees on to the cardholder, I mean, to the one making the application? Do we do that in other parts of the county, county government?
There used to be a law that required the merchant to absorb the fee, and I checked a couple of weeks ago, and I think that law has changed. Where now the fee can be paid by the person making the charge. Used to be you couldn't do that, but now I think you can make the person making the charge pay the fee. But it was a credit law.
Does the county tax commissioner do that?
I'm not sure what the tax commissioner does, but John is right. There is a statute that allows you to pass credit card fees along to the person paying the fee. It's capped at a certain amount. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I know we've looked at that statute several times in the past. So it is something that is doable. I will let you know up front, though, that if you decide to do that under your code of ordinances, that'll be a new fee, which will require you to have a public hearing, or you can.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm offended when I go to Fox Pizza and they want to charge you, so I just always pay cash. But I just don't.
No, I agree.
don't know why we have to
If it's
take American-
$77,000 that's coming out of our pockets,
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. So yeah, I think we need to rethink this.
I think that we just don't take American Express, if that would be my orders.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So, we can't agree to leaving off American Express at this juncture?
I could just put an X there.
Okay.
American Express.
I'm with that.
Commissioners,
We'll take American Express.
if you do want to move forward with this, with the exception of accepting American Express, that could be your recommendation to the Board of Commissioners if you like.
Mr. Chairman, I move we move forward with this proposal for IT department, and that we remove our requirement to accept American Express for payment.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All right.
Probably have a hit.
Okay. I don't see anything we need to. No. Okay. All right. Guess I'll see y'all on the virtual meeting.